Wherever you're at, thank you for being. What is the secret to living 10 years longer? Scientists say it's the quality of our relationships and human connection. Do you remember the name of your favorite teacher? I do. Mine was my ninth grade history teacher, Mr. Johnson. I was a bit of a troublemaker. Skipped class, I didn't care much about studying, and I often cheated on exams. I was definitely a rebellious kid. Mr. J, well, he was an Oakland Raiders fan and I was a Niners fan. He would often have one-liners as I walked into class about how the Niners were soft, and we would playfully banter back and forth. It was his way of establishing rapport and breaking down my teenage wall. He would often somehow catch me looking at other people's exams. It's almost like he had eyes in the back of his head. He would say, Dr. James, keep your chair warm after class. Or he would embarrass me by saying to a cute girl, Dr. James is going to be washing your windows in the next few years if he keeps cheating. Mr. J would then have me move next to the girls, almost if he was trying to set me up with her. I didn't really understand what he was doing, but as I look back, I now understand. He was taking the time to connect with me. He instilled confidence in me, and by calling me doctor. He challenged me to be better, and of course, you realize a cute girl would motivate me quite a bit. Most of my teachers in high school, they were so apathetic, they didn't care if I cheated or not. On the other hand, Mr. J, he cared. I think he saw a lot of himself in me. Now, what is fascinating to me is I don't remember any of the names of my least favorite teachers. Why is that? It's because they failed to connect with me. Human connection is the most powerful force on our planet. It has built monumental cities, forged the greatest of civilizations, and created the most dominant species on this planet. Us. So in my speech titled, It's All About Human Connection, I'm going to talk about the importance of human connection. What happens when we fail to connect with people, and what you can do right now to connect with people. What is the importance of human connection? Well, human connection is the foundation for purpose and meaning in life. There is no growing, there is no happiness, there is no learning without human connection. We are social creatures who have evolved to bond and work together for survival. When we connect with people, we release a hormone called oxytocin. It's my favorite hormone. Every time that hormone is released, I feel like there's a party going on in my head. It is considered the bonding hormone, but it's much more than that. It delivers a reward of bliss. It enhances our well-being. It creates a sense of trust. It increases our generosity. It improves our social skills, and we actually live longer because of this hormone. It's Mother Nature's way of saying, connect, connect, connect. I remember my second year as a police officer. I didn't know anything about being a police officer. I was dispatched to a caller, an elderly female that was asking for help. Dispatch asked her what the problem was, but she wouldn't say it. My spidey senses began to go up as I felt something wasn't right. I arrived at her house, and she said that she was alone, she needed help. I asked her, ma'am, what do you need help with? You know what she said? Moving her couch. I thought to myself, they didn't teach this in the police academy. Reluctantly, I decided to move her couch. After that, she would not let me leave. She kept talking to me and talking to me and talking to me. I had to sneak out just to get away from her. Later on, I thought about the incident. I felt really sad for this woman. I realized she was cooped up in her house every day and she was starved for human connection. So, what happens when we fail to connect? As a police officer, I've been to a lot of death scenes over the years. While at these scenes, I began to notice a pattern, a trend. Although these men and women died from many different things, the one thing that they had in common was their lack of human connection. They shut out the world, or the world shut them out. They died in large part because they were lonely. We spend approximately $9 trillion to alter our state of consciousness to take us away from reality and connecting with people. What do we use? Alcohol, recreational drugs, gambling, video games, porn, TV, entertainment, and even shopping. These things disconnect us from people, which leads to dis-ease. How can we remedy dis-ease? Getting back to human connection. So what can you do right now to connect with people? Go out there and engage with a senior citizen whose world is shrinking and in desperate need of human connection. Spend time mentoring a child who is starving for support and confidence. Instead of giving to charity, make it a point to connect with the homeless person who feels they're worthless or ignored by our society. Go call your mom. Text a friend you haven't texted in a long time. Or write a letter to someone that's in rehab. Be first to smile and shake somebody's hand. Think of ways to bring fun, enthusiasm, and delight in everyone you meet and nurture your relationships. Remember, human connection is a skill. It takes conscious effort. So later on, I went back to see my favorite teacher, Mr. J, to thank him for taking an interest in me. I showed up and I showed off in my police officer uniform. I could tell he was a little surprised and proud of me. He was a little older and he had less hair on the top of his head, but he was still the same. He called me doctor again, and he asked me to keep my chair warm after the bell. I shook his hand, and we connected one last time. In closing, I would like to say, life is worthwhile not because of your money, house, car, or job. Life is worthwhile because your relationships and deep human connection. My friends, go out there and connect with people. Thank you.